This is Jerry Maynard of Soul Success. Whatever success I've had, professionally and personally, I attribute to those who came before me, that generation above me, who said, I'll take you under my wing and I'll show you what I know. I will empower you and give you the knowledge that I had so that your journey can be strong, sustainable, and successful. That's why I want to do the same thing by being connected to this new generation of leaders, those who are under the age of 40, who are on their journey to strong leadership, strong success, and soul success for their personal life. That's why I'm staying connected, and we'll be having a series or shows here on Soul Success. With those who are under 40, we'll talk about life, we'll talk about love, we'll talk about business, we'll talk about strategies that make your life successful, both professionally and personally. Join me on Soul Success at 7 o'clock p.m. every Thursday at 7 o'clock on Facebook and YouTube, as we deal with a new generation of leaders, those who are 40 and under, as we talk about life and how to make it more abundant. Don't miss it. You'll enjoy it. Hi, this is Jerry Maynard, and this is Soul Success, where we talk about your inner man, who you really are, to make sure that you are really in love with yourself and in love with God. How can you say you love God and you don't love yourself? Because God is love. How can you say that you love God and you don't love yourself? And so we want to teach you, and we want to empower you to not only love God, but to love yourself, to love your family. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love yourself? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like yourself? If you're at a 2, we're here to help. If you're at a 10, we're here to confirm. And so we want to talk to you today because we want to make sure that you're living the life, the best life that God has for you. And today I am with someone who I've just met, but he's become a friend with me. And he's an actor. He is an artist, a comedian, a writer, performer. He does all those things. He's Jay McNutt, and he's here to help me so I can be a better person and find out how I'm going to not only laugh, but live and stretch myself. So Jay, you got a whole lot of stuff you got to do on this podcast and help me get out my box.
I'm ready.
You ready? Because I'm a little stiff.
Are you ready?
Bro, I'm ready. I'm a lawyer,
Okay.
pastor, politician, a little stiff. So
Lawyer.
Jay, tell me about you. Tell me
Okay.
about what you do, and tell me about how you've been living.
Well, I am a child of God first. I'll go ahead and put that out there. Stand-up comedian, actor, writer, creative consultant, host, chef. You left that part out in that too. Like acting wise and things like that, I go by the name of Elijah J. McNutt. So just for the government purposes, things like that. But other than that, I'm just a good person working on doing this comedy thing. I've been doing this for about 6 years now.
Wow.
And it's always been a blessing. It's been a blessing everywhere.
So creativity, you have something, and I call it an anointing. You could call it whatever you want.
Yes.
But something that's on the inside of you that is creative. Where for me, I have my creativity, I guess, is in my wordsmith. I guess the love of people. But you've got a gift that most people don't have, and that is the ability to be vulnerable in front of a crowd of people seeking an emotional response from them in comedy. Bruh, how do you do that?
I'm still finding that every day I get on stage. You're still trying to find your voice. Within 6 years, it's really been good. I've been blessed to be able to find my voice a little bit faster, but every day that I'm working and I'm learning it. Because when you usually start off, you're so general. You're talking about everything that's going on. But the really people who are really good at what they do are very vulnerable. They're talking about what's going on in their life, what has been going on, the things that hurt them the most.
Wow.
And that's what people really want to hear.
What made you get into comedy?
Excuse me. I was always going to be a comedian. This is everything I always wanted to do since I was a little kid. I remember sitting in my granddad's office. He was a pastor. And he looked at my mom and he said, that boy going to be a comedian. I was about 3, 4 years old. And
My grandfather told me I was going to be a pastor.
Yeah. And I did want to be a pastor too, because when I was in church, I didn't know what I could do. None of my gifts fit.
Right.
Being like all the kids of the church, I grew up in church. Everybody got to do something. You got to be in the choir. You got to be doing this.
Yeah.
I didn't want to sing. I didn't want to do this.
So you in the back of the church talking about everybody.
Yeah, I'm like, I used to tell mama, if everybody doing something and working in the church, then who gonna watch? Like that's what I wanted to watch and be there. So tried being on the usher board, that didn't work out. It was too many signals.
Too many signals. You didn't like the white gloves?
I didn't like the gloves. Mime team didn't work out for
Your
me.
mime.
So I just, so when youth thing came around, I gave my first sermon
Really?
when I was 11 years old. Yeah,
Oh,
we had
man.
youth Sunday, and I said everybody was doing something like, well, let me preach.
Right.
Let me preach.
Did you have a good word?
Have a good word. I came from 2 Kings,
Uh-huh.
I believe. It was a story about the love of a mother.
Okay, yeah.
And I talked about one of the stories when they were going to split a baby
That's
between
right.
two mothers and things like that. So, and
It was Solomon.
Solomon, he gave the baby to the real mother because she was like, you know what? Don't split my baby.
Right.
Just let her have
Yeah,
it.
exactly
and,
right.
And that was the lesson I taught.
All right, so man, you got a little preaching in you.
Yeah,
I see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but comedy is really getting up that
Hey,
preaching,
man,
talking about something.
I knew you had some salvation because you didn't call it 2 Kings. You call it 2 Kings.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
2 Kings.
that orange man. Yeah,
Right.
like, you know, yeah, I ain't gonna talk about that though. But yes,
yeah.
so you have created a spirit, and then when you are creating, what inspires you, bro? Not only the writing but producing. You say you're a chef. I mean, you're like a Renaissance man. I mean, you are a Renaissance man.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the people who do things like that, like people like Paul Robeson, he did everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
So
athlete too.
Athlete too.
He
yeah.
was an athlete, actor, all that, civil rights leader.
Yeah, I played baseball in college for a little bit. So
Really?
I'm all over.
Where you
the place.
from?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
part?
West side of Chicago.
Oh,
South side of Chicago.
Oh,
Yep.
Lord. West side. Okay.
Yeah.
So I lived in Chicago for years. Stayed on South side of Chicago, Hyde Park.
Yeah.
We used to talk about West Side Negroes.
Why? What?
Chicago. I don't know.
They said that's where the money was at, on the west side. That's it. yeah. Over there on the south side, it might be a little crazy, but you know, my family over there too. Well, we all over Chicago. so it's really close.
Yeah, man. So how'd you like growing up in Chicago?
I really did like it. I was in the house. You know, I wasn't outside like everybody else say. You know,
Right.
When did you first hop off the porch? I never did. you know,
What high school did you go to?
I went to Rich Central High School.
Okay.
Yeah. Rich Central High School, man, real good school. Who came out of there? People like Jay Ivey, one of the poets.
Okay.
You know, so we got a small Hall of Fame. I'm waiting on them to add me into it now. That's what I'm working
I
on.
hate what politicians have done. They have demonized Chicago for political purposes.
Oh, yeah.
Where they make Chicago out like there's this big, just one gangland or whatever, which is total crap.
Yeah.
Every city has an area where there's no opportunity, poverty, education is poor. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
And so every city has it, but Chicago is one of the greatest cities in the world. And I mean, it is, to me, in the summertime, I don't think there's a better city than Miami.
It's the best food.
The best food,
Best
bro.
food. Best
and the
food.
diversity is incredible. I
Yep.
mean, you got everything. You got Russians, Italians, you got Mexicans, Polish folk, proud Polish folks. You got black folks. You got black folks who are originally from Mississippi.
Yep.
You got black folks.
Those my people.
That's
Yep.
your people. And then you got black folks who, grew up in Chicago. They got 6th generation deep.
And you got the migrants that just moved there. So
Then you
they
got the Obamas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, listen. There's areas of town is all black, and there's nothing but millionaires and rich black folks, and they have pride. I love Chicago.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man.
incredible.
It's a beautiful city. Beautiful city.
An amazing thing that I used to go to all the museums when I didn't live in Chicago. Then when I moved to Chicago, I never went to any of the museums.
Yeah, like living in Chicago, you don't do all of the
Yeah.
stuff that tourist things do, and you move away. You be like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I guess we can go to the Bean.
Right. You're right. No. I like the what's the famous deep dish pizza place? That all the tourists go?
Giordano's.
Giordano's.
Yeah, Giordano's.
When you live there, you don't go to Giordano's.
Yeah, I've never had deep dish pizza until I went. I played the Chicago Theater with Steve Trevino, and they had deep dish pizza in the background. I was acting like I like this. Oh yeah, deep dish. We eat this all the time. But
it's like when I go out of town and I see on the menu Nashville hot chicken.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, really? Okay. The same thing here with the deep dish pizza. Like, come on. Unless you really go there and experience it. I mean, this stuff is kind of fake, whatever. But let's go back to you, man, on your creativity. Because I told you I was going to ask you this question. We talk about soul success, which means literally being vulnerable to the Lord, being vulnerable to yourself. And when I say vulnerable to yourself, actually putting a mirror up to yourself to see who you really are, not who you want the world to think you are, but who you really are. Because at the end of the day, you got to wake up to yourself, live, look in the mirror, go to bed with yourself. And if you haven't forgiven yourself and you haven't really worked out all those things that need to be worked out so you can have a healthy life, it can be a miserable life. Yeah. I can't imagine the strength it takes for you to get on a stage exposed and vulnerable and offering you to a crowd of folks you don't know? What is that like?
I think that's actually easier doing it than doing it in front of an audience of people that you do know.
Come on, help me out, bro.
Because if everybody here knows you as this person, you know, you do a show and all your family's there, you're this person. You're that person they knew all growing up. So you trying to show them a different side is probably harder than going in front of this strange group of people at this comedy club A, and I'm just going up here. I can just go. I can be more vulnerable in front of them than a group of people that you do know.
I don't want to call it a routine. Your performance, that's what I'll call it. I'm seeing a lot of comedians now, they don't go up with prepared jokes. They go up there, they engage the audience, and then they try to develop storylines and all those things. Whereas when I grew up, you know, Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy, they didn't engage the crowd. They just went straight into their performance and routine and did that. So how do you perform?
So like what you were saying, like people going up and talking and building a storyline throughout the crowd, that's called crowd work.
Okay.
So like Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy, they did those things, but most of the things that we saw of their stand-up was more of a specials.
Right, okay.
So we wouldn't go see them at the clubs when, so nowadays, now that comedy is so broad now, you can see it everywhere. There's a camera in every club.
Right.
So you can see their first beginnings, them walking on stage like, hey, where do you live? Or how did you come? You know what I'm saying? So people are really dig. But the crowd loves that now too.
Right.
So it's like you almost have to give them a little crowd work.
So people sit on the front row because they want to be part of the show.
They used to not sit on the front row, because you know Chris Rock, he gonna say something to me. He gonna talk about my teeth like he did 5 years ago when he came. That's how people are. Yeah. So, but now they're like, oh, I'm sitting up front, and I want to come up here. I want to be a part of the show. Right. Like there's a comedian, Nate Jackson. He does it at his own comedy club, Nate Jackson Superman Comedy Club, out in Tacoma, Washington. He does an all crowd work show.
Wow.
And people come there like every month, or I think he does it weekly probably too.
Do people get their feelings hurt?
No, they like it now.
They can laugh at themselves.
They can laugh at themselves, and people just love to talk about it. It's been like this new phenomenon. Oh my God, like Matt Rife, he made it huge. Right. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But he got it from a lot of those older guys and people like that already doing it, and it just made it big. Now people want to see that all the time now.
Crowd work.
Crowd work. People love to see crowd work. Is that what you do?
I
do crowd work, but I also have material. Okay. So there's a comedian who passed, his name is Patrice O'Neal. He says you go up there with your jokes in your back pocket and you just go up there and fill it, and then you pull them out as needed. Okay. So that's what I do. I go up there and I go up there to have fun. Right. I tell you, just let the Lord use me. Let him run through me with those couple of ha-has. Because I remember one time I didn't pay attention to that. Yeah. I wanted to do the jokes. I wanted to do that. I wanted to do this. Yeah. And didn't work out as well for me. Right. So I learned to go up there and be open, understand what the situation is, and then attack.
So you read the crowd.
Read the crowd. Yeah.
Got to know your crowd.
Yeah. Some of them want crowd work. The person who came here, they sat here because they wanted you to say something. And then the guy, this could be somebody, a girlfriend brought her boyfriend. She'd be like, no, say something to him. Say something to him. It's his birthday. They love that type of attention now.
So they want to be part of.
Yeah, it's an experience.
It's an experience. And I keep hearing that with younger generations, that people want, quote unquote, the experience.
Yeah, experiences.
Yeah, that's why the vacations and all the different things like that at nature, because they want experience. So you are providing an experience for them.
Yes.
Do you feel like how do you feel like you contribute to people's lives? Because I believe that laughter and love and music are critically important. Yes. I think just going to work every day and working and going to church, you gotta have laughter, music, and love. How do you feel about what you contribute to people?
I really realize that what you do on stage is really impactful, because people are coming out, they're spending their money. The ticket was $30. This drink was $15. Right. It was a 2-drink minimum. They had to get 2. They spending their hard-earned money out to come see you. So it doesn't matter how many people are in the crowd, you're just going at them. And I really realized the big impact. I remember I was performing one day, it was probably about 40 people in the crowd. People were laughing and engaging. One lady on the front row just had a stern face the whole time. Right. And I was looking at her like, why she not laughing? But I'm just gonna keep catering to the people. I'm thinking she didn't pay attention. I'm in the back, sitting there, and I had my after beverage when I get off stage.
Sprite.
Yeah, Sprite.
Orange juice.
Yeah, it's a dark Sprite. and then she walked up and she was like, "Thank you so much. I needed that."
Wow.
And I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
this is not about me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking all this stuff and I want to say this, I want to say that. This is not about me. It's about the people who came here to listen to what you're saying, but it's your message going to them. They needed this laugh. They needed this today.
Right.
And it's going to help them for the rest of the week too.
All right, so we're going to do part 2. So, but I got to get this question out, and then I want you to talk about December, the dates that you're performing.
Okay.
But look, for the next just couple of minutes, let's talk about this. When you are a preacher, a doctor, when you are a performer, and you literally are not just performing, you're literally giving of yourself.
Yeah.
Then my question, as we have an outpouring, because see, when you create, that's you offering yourself. Who pours into you? How do you get? Because a lot of pastors, the challenge that they have, there's nobody pouring back into them because they're pouring out so much. Then sometimes they are literally running on empty because there's nobody pouring back into them. How do you get? What do you do that have? Do you listen to other people or other comedians or a therapist? How do you get rejuvenated, replenished?
I learn so much every day about this game and really about life. So I'm always getting like you're saying, rejuvenated and learning and being more excited about it. So it pushes me away from burnout whenever times like, oh, this is going hard, this is bad, or I haven't made it yet, or this and that, or this and like things you think about. Then there's a lot of comedians who I've been blessed to meet, really successful, legendary comedians who've just been able to pour into me like, hey, focus on this and focus on this. You're good, but you need to be here.
Right.
You have to get this and you need that, and you're capable of doing it. So I'm always thinking like, oh, I could work harder.
Right.
So that's why I'm always staying rejuvenated, staying inside the game and learning every day. Netflix has a bunch of specials.
Right.
You can watch a comedy special for 24 straight hours.
Wow.
Learn it, watch it.
Right.
Or pull yourself up.
Yeah.
So it's always a learning curve.
Well, I'm excited to have Jay McNutt with us, and he's going to be with us on part 2, and we're going to be talking about boundaries, like what can you say, what can you not say, what you should say, what's politically correct or not politically correct, and then we're going to talk about black love, and from he's single and I'm single, and so 2 black men, we're going to talk about what it's like to be out in these streets. I'm not in the street. I'm at the church. I'm at the church. I'm in the aisle of the church. I ain't in the streets. Well, how it's like to date out here for 2 black men, amen, that's single and heterosexual. I want to make that point. Thank you. And so we're going to make sure he doesn't carry a man bag either, by the way. So that was good. So we're going to come back at part 2 this Thursday at 7:00 p.m. I'm Jerry Maynard with Soul Success. So glad you joined us. We'll see you next week.